What's going on? It's the RapNerd. I just got out of seeing Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. And I'm going to start by saying, excuse me, I went in not expecting much. I saw the trailer, didn't move me that much either because I was like, this is more of the same of what we saw, and I don't really know how much this is going to move the meter, And while it was more of the same, it's a positive way because this movie was pretty damn good. I'm impressed with what Gunn pulled off here. You can tell that he's the strongest he's ever been as a director in this film in particular. I mean, with everything from the visuals to the music to the action set pieces to the hand-to-hand combat, everything is just better than it's been in the rest of the movies. Not to say that this is a perfect movie by any means, because there's a lot going on, and I feel like there is a little too much going on to where it loses itself in places with tonally and just story beats. But overall, as a film and the technicalities of this movie, excellent. So I said earlier, it's more of the same in a good way. And what I mean is, this movie is what the MCU used to be. Like, this is peak MCU right here. I can't recall the last time an MCU movie was at this level. And when I say peak, I'm talking about firing off on all cylinders. Probably, some would probably say Endgame. I still think Endgame, there's some hits and misses with the second act. But I'm going to take it back to Infinity War. Like, Infinity War to me was Marvel at its peak, at every mark in every box being checked off of being a great movie. Even though there could be something you can complain about, it goes hard and does everything to the best of its ability. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is that. And this is exactly why Gunn is in the position he's in. We've been seeing all these films lately in the MCU with wonky VFX, with stuff that doesn't look real, stuff that looks video game-like. Not the case here. These are some of the best VFX in the Marvel Universe, period. Nothing looks fake. Everything is clear, concise. It looks good. It's all the visuals are, the details are all there. This is what happens when you allow the VFX time to work on their craft. Like, this is what you get. And granted, there are a few movies, from between that time span with great VFX, because I feel like Sam Raimi's Multiverse of Madness has some really good VFX, and the same with Eternals. There are some here and there, but I feel like all of the movies have some like soft spots somewhere where it's like, TGI is looking a bit shaky here. Not here. Like, incredible VFX, man. Great character designs, production designs, monster designs. The spaceship, the way the space just looks, it's usual. In all of Gunn's Galaxy of the Guardian movies, the VFX are great, but here, just outstanding. Especially, I think it just sticks out because we've seen so much shit lately that's just been like, what? Like, this is clearly a green screen. Not the case here. So had to give the props to that. Again, as you can expect with Gunn writing and these characters, he's had these characters for, I don't even know how many times they've come out. We got the 3 Guardians movies. We've seen them in Infinity War, Endgame, a holiday special. He knows his characters like the back of his hand. He does what he does best with them. And I just really like that Gunn is able to present a lot of themes early on in the film about these characters, and by the time you get to like the beginning of the third act, they all circle back there, and each character gets a chance to have their shine with the theme that was presented earlier. I think that is a dope thing here. He did it perfectly in this way. It's all about family. For those who don't know what the movie is about, it's following the Guardians having to chase down a particular person to save Rocket Raccoon. And throughout the story, we get these flashbacks of how Rocky became who he was, and it's very, very emotional. It pulls on the heartstrings a lot. And to be real, a lot of people I'm seeing people talk about that being emotional, but I feel like there are way other more emotional things. Like that story with Rocket didn't really emotionally connect with me. Of course, I was like feeling it, like, okay, you were done terribly by I forgot the guy's name. I don't, these kids, like, when it comes to cosmic Marvel, I ain't gonna lie, like, I'm not fully versed on the names and all that, but I forgot my man's name. But the villain of the story, who has a serious god complex, but the backstory of how Rocket became who he was, it is heartbreaking to see, and how he was treated and all that. But it's just the character moments in here just all really hit me in the feels, man. Like, there's one moment, this might be a minor spoiler, but not really, but it's this thing where, who says it to Nebula tells Drax, he was like, your name is Drax the Destroyer, but you weren't born to be a killer or a destroyer. I can now see you were born to be a father. And oh my God, that like, whoo, that hit me in the heart. Like, I literally, I was just like, oh my God, tears welled into my eyes, because that is like, that resonates with me so much. Like, as you can understand, if you're a father, like, I feel like the minute I had my baby girl, I was like, this is what I was like, I know I was born to do this. And hearing him say that, and you'll see why that's being said in the movie. But that's why I would say it's kind of a spoiler, because you don't know the context if you haven't seen the movie. But it's just so many lines like that between characters, and the emotion at level 10. We've been with this character so long. We see different. We just see everybody really open up and be themselves, because they went through this big deconstruction during these 3 movies, but also the MCU with all the shit that's been going on. They've been deconstructed totally. So we get to see them in a different light. Like, Nebula was like my favorite character in here. She was funny, the funniest to me. She kept it real when she needed to, and just all around, like, man, she just became one of my favorites of this group. What else can I say? Rocket Raccoon. I'm gonna shut up on him, because there's something that was bothering me throughout the movie. I was like, but it got fixed later. But that's all I'm gonna say about that. Peter Quill, I love that he actually is fitting the role of what he set out to be. You know, he's the guy who figures the plan out and does, like he's that, like, unequivocally here. Groot was great. It's just, you see the evolution of what he was and where he is now. He could do even more than what he did back then, of course. That's how it should be. Drax, same thing. Honestly, I feel like his comedics were toned down quite a bit. Like, they weren't as over the top as I would think they, he has been in the past. Like, I feel like Volume 2, it was just like, good thing about that, for those who didn't like Volume 2, it is way toned down from that. Volume 2 was damn near a comedy, and it was just too fucking much. But not here. I think there's definitely that levity and the humor here, and the MCU, that's what the MCU does. But overall, it's toned down, per se. I do like, excuse me, who the other characters? I think Gamora here was in a light we've never seen her. I feel like she was an interesting flavor to what we're used to seeing when it comes to the Guardians, because she wasn't the character that we knew. She's a lot more of an asshole. I don't give a fuck about you, and that was cool to see her dynamic play out and things happen and play against that, and it kind of opened her eyes to a lot of things. I think I will say though, I think Adam Warlock was unnecessary in this movie. I don't think he was. I kind of feel like Gunn had to use him since he presented him in Volume 2, and I think when he got fired, something happened to where his actual reasoning for being in the movie was kind of lost, because he really didn't need to be there. Like, he didn't really add much of anything to the movie for me personally. I think it was cool to see him fly around and fight, but overall, still just useless in my opinion. Like, that he's the one person I'm like, yeah, cool to see though. What else can I say about the film? Again, with Gunn, excellent music choices. I really wonder how much Marvel spends when it comes to his licensing, because he uses a shit ton of music. And in this film, he used a lot of joints that I liked, actually. Like I mean, I say I like, but he used some joints that, like, I really love. Like, I mean, the first song that we hear brightened me up a bit. Like I said, I went to the movie just like, okay, another Guardians movie. And when the song came on, I was like, oh shit, this might be different. And if you've seen the movie, you know what song it is that comes on. It's one of my favorite songs ever. I fucking just that song set the mood of the movie. And if you like the song, you understand what it's about. And that just right there just resonates with you. And that resonated with me when that song played. And then the last song they played was so fitting of the scene, and I love that song too. It's very celebratory. It's good. So yeah, I'm impressed. Because I've said this before. Like, I'm not a huge gun fan, but I like really enjoyed this movie a lot. I think Guardians, his first one, is probably the movie that he's done that I enjoy the most. But this one here is like right under that. Like, and the action in this film, I'm pretty sure other reviews have spoken about it, but there's a oneer in here that I'm sitting here thinking like it's gonna stop. But it keeps fucking going, and it is incredible. Holy shit. Like, I didn't know Gunn had like the action, like hand-to-hand action chops that he has until I saw this. And of course the joint in the Suicide Squad with Harley Quinn when she was fighting, that was dope. But here, it's like that scene in particular, I was like, this impressed me. Wow. I'll say that. What else can I say? I don't want to spoil anything else, but good time in the movies, man. I do feel like it could have been a little shorter. There are moments where I'm like, was this really necessary? You know, it's 2.5 hours, but I feel like there could have been 20 minutes cut to make it a clean 2, and it wouldn't have felt so long. But again, if you felt like this is what you needed, hey, cool. But I do feel like it could have been a tad bit shorter. But besides the tad bit shorter and what's his name? I'm sitting here losing my brain. What the fuck is his name? Adam Warlock kind of being a little bit useless. Excellent film. Like, this is what the MCU is. This is like what the first phases were like. Just great film. That's all I'm gonna say before I spoil it. If you've seen Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, let me know what you think in the comments. Did you like it? Do you love it? Did you not care for it? Where do you rank it? And if you like this kind of content, make sure to like and subscribe. And if you already are subscribed, thank you. And until next time, peace.
RapNerd Productions, no capping, that's word to mommy.